Okay, welcome to the Bishop Exchange. It's me, John Bishop, in my house in England, talking to Des Bishop in one of his properties in America.
John, you know, the way you say that makes it sound like I'm the fucking posh one. Okay, we both come from humble beginnings, but let's not try to pretend that your house is not a lot fancier than my house. Okay, so one of my properties make me sound like.
It is one of your properties.
Yeah, you make me sound like a Celtic Tiger developer.
So how's your week been? Before we get to how your week been, I'll tell you what I've done, right?
Okay,
we'll
good.
come on to lots and lots of things because it's been a massive week. Massive week over here.
Great.
Liverpool won the Premier League. Incredible. I went to it with my dad, my brother and my sister, and it was just amazing. For people who don't know about football, Liverpool hadn't won the Premier League for 30 years, and then we won it for the 2020 season, but it was COVID, so the fans couldn't celebrate. So we won it on Sunday, which is the second time in 5 years, or the second time in 35 years, and all of that bottled celebration was released. It was just phenomenal. I mean, like, the fireworks outside. There was more people outside the ground than in the ground. You couldn't get out the ground. Flares, everything. And the owners, who are Fenway Sports, the American owners.
Yanks.
Yeah. So you could see them on the pitch, the Yanks. And
Henry,
John,
right? John Henry?
John Henry was he got his phone. And he was filming the crowd at the end. And one of my mates said he's doing that for future investors. He's saying this is worth $500 million more today than it was yesterday, because these fans are off the scale. So that was a big thing this week. But
yeah, now can I just give a quick shout out in relation to that to Mia McGinty, who I've known since she was less than a year old. She's one of my friends from out here in West Hampton, and she's always been an awesome soccer player, football player. She had a soccer scholarship, but she messaged in our Spotify group. She's one of my closest friends, but she messaged in the Spotify group, Liverpool won the league. You'll never walk alone. And I had forgotten that she was such a diehard Liverpool fan. So I told her that the next time you're in New York, you guys have to meet. But shout out to Mia, who American diehard Liverpool fan who listens to the podcast.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. So she's such a good mate of yours. She sent you a message via Spotify.
No, it wasn't to me. It wasn't to me. It was to the congregation.
To the congregation. Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you, Mia.
She listens to the pod. She was really putting that out for you. She put it out for
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Well, I was talking I mean, there you go. This is what's great about this. So we've got Mia listening in is it New York that she's based?
Yeah, she's in New York, yeah.
And then I got a message off my mate Paul Christie, who's listening to the pod in Auckland, outside of Auckland in New Zealand. Like, that's however small this congregation is, or however big it is, whatever size it is, you can't argue about the spread of it. I mean, they're everywhere.
Now, without getting too much of a digression here, were you surprised your few times in the States about how much the Premier League has? They say Premier League, right?
Sorry, Des, fucking do it again. Does Edinburgh United play in the Premier League?
I get it. But I said it that way because that's what they say.
Them Yanks.
Yeah, because this is about the Yanks. Were you surprised when you came here that there was so much support over here?
You know what? The mad thing about this, and this is a very, I suppose, revealing thing about the spread of football and the importance of football as a game. When I was doing a lot of going backwards and forwards to Africa with Comic Relief, and like going to like Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, going into like townships in Rwanda, and there would be bars built out of mud bricks, so they're basically mud hut bars that just showed the Premier League.
Yeah.
There'd be like one television amongst however many people were there, and they'd be showing the Premier League. You could literally watch any Premier League game there, and there was loads because Arsenal had signed a lot of African players from Cameroon and so on. So there was a lot of Arsenal shirts knocking about, Liverpool shirts, Man United shirts. But so you're there going over doing all of this. If you're like trying to find stories to reflect the need to support, all of these initiatives that we had going on in Africa to support the poorest people of Africa. And they're watching the Premier League. They're getting more Premier League games than I'm getting. I'm paying for a Sky subscription. I'm like, these Africans are doing all right when you think about it.
Yeah, well, because I every year it seems to be getting bigger and bigger in the States. So,
Oh, yeah. And, the big thing about it is the international reach that it's got. So, listen, it's phenomenal. It was a great achievement, but it was so good to do it on that family basis because it's been mad, actually. Because my sister has always been a Liverpool supporter, but just the way our family was set up, she's only started going to games this year because I never even thought of saying, do you want to go to the match? Because all the girls used to sit in the kitchen and me, my dad and my brother would sit in the living room watching the football. That's how traditional our family was.
Well, it took to 2025 for you guys to learn about equality.
Exactly. I was coming over to America coaching girls football and then going back to my sister going, you wouldn't like it. It's not for you.
Yeah, because America, the States was ahead of the game with the women.
Massive. When I used to come over, when I was at college, I used to go over and coach football every summer in the States. Every summer, and we used to do North American soccer camps. We used to do they weren't residential camps, so you coach in one town in the morning, somewhere else in the afternoon, stay in between or stay with families. It was brilliant. It was how I fell in love with America. So I've been to all of these mad bits of America that people don't normally go to because I was going to coach football there or soccer. And every time we did it, bearing in mind we were, I was 20, 21, something like that, Englishmen going over. So this would have been like nearly 40 years ago, 38 years ago. And it was 50-50 boys and girls in America. In England at that time, that was unheard of. It was unheard of. And for the people who created football, it took us so long to get the equality back. Because it was banned. Women were banned from playing football by the FA.
Yes, I remember seeing a couple of TikToks were going around about that for a while, about what happened with the women's game was popular and then they banned it or something?
Yeah, well, the women's game was popular, particularly during the war.
Yeah,
because all the men went away. And so the women's final, there was like 100,000 people attending the England against Scotland women's game. And then the FA, the men come back, wanted to play, and so the FA just banned women from playing.
I think there's kind of a slightly, not negative reason, but I think one of the reasons why football was so popular in the States for women was because it wasn't considered like one of the manly games.
No.
It was very much like a fringe game. But for women, it was considered like a main game.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
No, I get that. So it wasn't a game where there was as much steroids as your other manly sports.
Yeah. I'm not. Trust me. I'm a football support. We were watching. I watched. So you can tell me the year. I would have said 1986, but I think I'm wrong. But I was in 6th grade. I guess I must have just been beginning to hit puberty because myself and my dad were like at loggerheads. We were fighting loads and it was very hard to get soccer games here. But there was some channel, some obscure channel that was showing the FA Cup final, Liverpool versus Everton. I think it was 86, but I could be wrong.
Are you sure it was the FA Cup final?
Well, I'm not, actually, because I was like 10 years old and I wasn't but I feel like it was Liverpool versus Everton. But I could be wrong. We get some Googling. Anyway, long story short, I had to, my dad was like, you need to tape this. This was my apology. Like he said, we're good, but you need to tape this game. It mustn't have been the FA Cup final because it was on in the afternoon.
The FA Cup was 86.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, the FA Cup was 86.
So it would have been
and
he was working, so probably would have been 10 in the morning. He was in retail, so he always worked on Saturdays, right? And I had to tape it. But as a result of this obscure moment where I had to, as an apology to my father, I had to tape this game on a VCR. I always feel a connection to Ian Rush and John Barnes because they were the only footballers from England that I knew in the 1980s. And to me, Ian Rush looked like a rat. Those are my childhood memories of early.
So the FA Cup was 86. You were in like the Milk Cup or the League Cup final in 84. That's why I asked if it was the FA Cup, but it was.
It was 84 would have been too early.
Yeah, so 86 would have been it. Yeah, and you're talking Ian Rush, John Barnes. Yeah, you know
Ian Rush scored 2 goals.
Oh, watch out!
There you go.
It's a sports
Brad
podcast.
Knows. Brad knows.
I know that from memory.
Yeah, Brad knows. Brad's the lad. Yeah, Brad was just talking to all his mates about it, going, yeah, footy.
If memory serves me correctly.
Rushy bagged the couple, didn't he? Bagged the brace.
It was hard to get soccer. We used to watch a lot of soccer in Spanish. I'm saying soccer because that's what we called it back then. So we used to watch a lot. We watched the Mexico 86 World Cup in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, maybe the final was on NBC in English because I watched the final. And you know what's funny? Because my dad had this like hybrid identity, right? Because he actually had a little bit more of an English accent than an Irish accent, but in his mind, he was more Irish. But I guess, so the Nagueras, coincidentally enough, one of the Nagueras, the sister, was at one of my shows recently, but they were Argentinian, right?
Who's Naguera?
The kids I grew up with. These kids I grew up with. So I'm just telling.
We meant to know who the Naguera. I was thinking, who did he play for, Naguera?
Sorry, I jumped. The story.
Even Bradley, with his world footballing knowledge, was going, "Who's Naguera? Is he the left back from Mexico?"
I'm sure you could find some Nagueras on there. The Nagueras, for some reason, they thought I was going to give a fuck about England losing. So the next time I saw them, they were giving me such a fucking hard time about Maradona fucking scoring the goal. But God. I didn't give a fuck. But we had to watch that in Spanish.
Bet the Spanish commentator didn't say he cheated.
Yeah, if I could have translated at the time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, talking about translation, this is just an odd thing. You may not know the answer to this. I was listening to a program, and one of the things that they said that was true, which I wanted to ask you, is that in Irish, numbers are different if you're counting humans and non-humans. Is that true, or does that make any sense at all?
Oh, it's totally true. I have a whole routine about it.
No way.
I have a whole routine about how complicated Irish is. Now, by the way, it kind of happens in English too, but we don't really care about it as much. But so in Irish, the number 2 is do, hain do tree. Do is 2, right? So my routine was always, oh yeah, Irish is easy. Do is 2, right? And then I said, so then I was like, I have do something. I can't even remember what the example I used. I have 2 things. And they were like, no, it's gaw. So when you're talking about like 2 things, you say gaw, right? So it's like, I have gaw. I can't even think of a thing right now. But anyway, so that would be funny because then all of the kids that had to learn Irish were like, oh my God, I remember that. So then I was like, oh, okay. So gaw when you're talking about things. And then I'd be like, so there are gaw people. And they'd be like, no, it's Bert. You fucking idiot. That was always the joke. So with people, it's Bert. So I have Bert, Bert Dreher Imchlan. Like I have 2 brothers in my family. And that routine was a big routine for me, actually. So that is 100% true.
What's the point in that? So when you
There's
count
no.
it,
So that was just so funny. You say, "What's the point in that?" I had also had a whole routine about when you try to ask Irish speakers, like, "Why?" And there's no why. It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
when the
English were over there and they were trying to tell you all to stop using the language. some of it, they mustn't have known what was going on because there's how hard is it to translate when a number there's different versions of what and that goes all the way up. All numbers are different.
I actually have to be honest.
You never got past number 2.
Well, that's the big one. That's the big one is Bert, because tree. I think it becomes Trier. Some of them aren't as obvious a change. The 2 was the biggest change. But hey, man, that's genocide for you.
Oh,
language
right.
gets in the way.
No, this. You've just said that word. No, listen. This is the thing I wanted to tell you about having the great weekend. So let me think through my week. So I went up.
Got a lot of things on my mind here, by the way.
Yeah, so have I.
Are we leaving the Irish language?
Well, to an extent. So we went to the game, came back, and I drove back last night straight to London to the Royal Albert Hall. And I went to watch Gregory Porter. You know Gregory Porter, the singer?
No.
He's a Californian singer, and he sings songs, and he in a very jazz sort of like that. And anyway, he sang, and so he's doing the Royal Albert Hall. And as I say, the best way to describe it, it's like a Ronnie Scott show. It's like he's going, but then some of his songs are funky, and he's got an amazing voice. He sang a song, right? And just when you said that, then let me see if I can get this up on my thing here.
Genocide made you think of this?
The song.
There's nothing makes me think of jazz more than genocide.
The song.
Jazz aside.
I'm sat in the Royal Albert Hall, and he starts singing this song, and it goes, and the intro of the song is musical, hey, musical, hey, musical, no, musical, hey, musical, hey, musical, no, musical genocide. I do not agree. This is not for me. No, musical genocide. I will not commit, nor will I submit to musical genocide. And I'm sat there thinking, who's ever put the word genocide in a song?
Well,
it doesn't rhyme with anything good.
Yeah, genocide, suicide, homicide, all the happy tunes.
Honestly, God, I was
five aside. Which, when you get to my age, you're like, no fucking way. I'm not tearing my hamstring.
But I was just trying to think, what words do you think would never make it into a song? Like, he's made the word genocide into a song, and it's quite a...
Yeah. I would think Hitler. It's not in a lot of songs.
Hitler, baby, one more time.
He gets it back to Britney every time. Only Bradley can go from fucking genocide to Britney in 2 words.
Hitler, baby. Bradley, did you just make that up, or is that like a thing?
Made that up.
Oh my God, that's going to be in John's next tour. Sounds like the Trump presidency. Hitler, baby, one more time. But anyway, so
that's funny.
Hitler only had one ball. Did you know that?
No, go away. How did you know that?
Well, I'll tell you how I knew it. Do you remember the horn section? Remember Alex Horn?
Yeah, Alex Horn, yeah.
So they used to have that great show, which I think they still use the horn section. Anyway,
yeah, they do. Yeah,
Alex, it's a band, right? It was fucking so much fun. We used to do those shows in Edinburgh. But they really encouraged you to use the band as much as possible when you're doing your stand-up, which of course I love because I'd be doing all this hip-hop stuff. But at one stage I said, guy, I was doing my joke about having testicular cancer and only having, so I said, guys, can I get some testicular cancer music, which is like setting them up for playing something stupid. And they played, apparently people used to sing, Adolf Hitler had one ball, had one ball, had one ball. So Adolf Hitler had one ball, and which I had never heard of. And then they sang it, which we got to laugh about. It was just Hitler and testicular cancer all the hot comedy topics.
You should have got Gregory Porter in.
But I feel like I looked it up at the time. But I feel like I looked it up at the time. But maybe Bradley, you could just double check.
I don't know if it's a rumor, but I've definitely heard it before.
Oh, you hadn't heard it before, yeah.
Yeah.
But where do you hear this stuff? Because at the end of the day, if you're the Führer, you're not going to allow your medical records to be out, are you? You know what I mean? You just got to say to people, I've got massive balls. My balls are massive. That's why I have these big baggy pants, so I can carry my balls in them.
So anyway,
it's a rumor.
It's a
decades,
rumor.
But no definitive proof.
No
Apparently,
definitive
the Soviet autopsy reports allegedly stated Hitler only has one testicle.
All right, so just as of somebody with a degree in history, and I do care about historical accuracy, I am not saying that the famine was not a genocide, but what I am saying is it's not historically definitive that it's accurate to define it as a genocide, but the debate is ongoing. So just in case people think I'm being flippant with the term genocide, and for those that are on the side of the debate which say that the famine was gross mismanagement by the British government but not a genocide, I am very open to the discussion. So in a jokey context, I threw that word out earlier on. But in a historical context, the debate is ongoing, and it's a very interesting discussion. Just, if I may keep my history hat on for just one more second, people underestimate the importance of the Irish famine, the Great Hunger, on Gorta Moor. They underestimate its importance, not just in Irish history, but in world history, because actually a lot of the world was changed by the Irish famine, a more important historical event than people realize. Anyway, that's my history hat off.
Well, as somebody who did the Irish potato famine as my special subject,
did you actually?
Celebrity Mastermind. Yeah, didn't you know that?
I didn't.
Well,
this is great. Well.
Yeah, but anyway, I totally agree. It did change world events, and it also question. For a start, the diaspora happened.
Yes.
The Irish left, and then the Irish went and conquered the world and opened up pubs in every city in the world.
That's right.
The Irish
soft.
left. That
you know what they
happened.
call that? You know what they call that? Soft power.
Soft power.
That's what they call that in geopolitical terms. Soft power.
Is that another word for Guinness? Soft power.
You definitely get soft power the next day.
but how did we jump onto something so serious?
Well, we didn't really, but I
wasn't prepared. I've got my notes out.
You weren't prepared. You're the number one. I made a quick genocide joke because you brought up the British taking over. You brought up the British wiping out the Irish language, right? You actually.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Now I got you. Now I got you.
I made a quick genocide joke, and then you thought of some fucking jazz singer. You actually started doing slam poetry on your fucking phone. you became a slam poet, and then we've got.
I do not agree. Musical genocide.
No, you were like, I will not do musical genocide. So anyway, just to bring it back to the Irish language.
Yeah.
Did I mention this the other? I feel like I think I might have been on the podcast with Hannah. So speaking of all my Irish language jokes, the other Irish language joke I had was that you need to believe in God to speak Irish because it still uses God in loads of ways. So one of my jokes was to say hello in Irish, you have to say Diolch, which means God be with you, right? And then the other joke then was it becomes like a competition because the response to Diolch is Dios Murgwich, which is God and Mary with you. So then I would do this whole back and forth of like, oh, God and Mary with me? Well, God, Mary, and Joseph, right? And it was just like a silly joke. The joke is not important. What's important is that the joke was on me because the whole time I was talking about how fucking stupid is this that you need to say God be with you to say hello in Irish. And then I posted it online recently, Because nobody said it back in 2008 when the TV show came out. Nobody was like, hey, you dumb fuck, we do it in English too. Because that is literally what goodbye is.
That's what it means?
That's where goodbye comes from God be with you. That's
Good.
that goodbye is actually evolves out of God be with you. That's where goodbye, that's actually the etymology of goodbye.
Where does hello come from?
Adele. Adele.
Hell.
I have a joke. I have a joke that I have a joke that I do sometimes. I have a joke that I do sometimes. It's like, this is a generation test, and then I sing into the mic. I go, "Hello," and then I say, "If you thought, is it me you're looking for?" And you're my age.
Yeah,
And if you
that's
thought
brilliant.
it's me, then you're younger than me.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah, but it's funny. It never. I feel like when I tell two people, like right now, I feel like it's funny. But like live on stage, if for some reason it's always been fine, but it's never really worked, you know. So here's a question, Bradley: could you fact check the etymology of goodbye?
Yes.
Because I think so. Basically, I posted it again recently because people are much more active in the comments these days, and people were like, "That's what goodbye means," and I kind of felt like an idiot, even though nobody had pointed that out to me the whole time. But that show was very popular in Ireland, In the Name of the Father. So I didn't feel as stupid because
Yeah, it
I had
says
a
the
whole.
word goodbye comes from a contraction of the phrase "God be with you." God be with
God
you.
be with ye.
God
Yeah.
be with ye.
Oh, you want to know another great etymology? Because that I also learned when I was learning the Irish language.
Go on.
You know when British people say smashing, you
Yeah.
know, like smashing shot. Apparently, it evolves from ismashin, because ismashin means that's good, that's proper Gaeilge, it's grammar. But apparently, the British version came from Scots Gaelic and came south. Ismashin, you say it fast, smashin, and the English speakers would eventually hear it as smashing, and it then became part of the English lexicon, but it actually is from the Irish language. A small bit of the fucking fight back against language colonization, smashing a very English word, actually is Irish. And you can fact check that on me if you want.
No. Yeah.
But
It's very-
etymology is so fucking interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
anyway.
interesting. And it's very interesting how it keeps growing.
Yeah, it
You
keeps
know
evolving.
what I mean? It keeps
Still evolving.
It keeps evolving all the time. And
But
there's
now
new-
it's on steroids. Because the internet, and mass communication is now accelerating etymology to the point where I can't even keep up with the evolution of words.
like when you say that, like that's smashing. To go from ishy to
Ismashin,
smashing. To go to probably took 100 years.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
maybe more.
There's disputes against this one.
Yes,
Oh,
there's
very
dispute.
good, Brad. Very
Here.
good, Brad.
The streets are saying that it's unproven, but the theory is catchy and often repeated, but linguists generally view it as unlikely due to a lack of historical linguistic evidence.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I so on the subject of language wanted to speak about swearing today because I'd read an article about all the health benefits of swearing that was in Time magazine. Did anyone see it?
Oh, I didn't. I
Oh,
missed that.
yes. There was something about the benefits of people who swear. Go, you say it. You say what it is rather than me guess it.
Right there, I got this ready earlier. So apparently there's pain tolerance enhancement benefits, improved physical performance benefits, improved emotional regulation, and social bonding.
I'm a big swearing defender.
You swear a lot.
Yeah, well, I think in Ireland
Irish
people,
yeah.
you know, Tommy had that great joke. Is it okay to say somebody else's joke? It was such a joke of his from such a long time ago. And of course, I'm not going to say it correctly, which I think he did at the Montreal Comedy Festival like over 15 years ago. But he said that the English took the language from us, and it was something along the lines of, so they built a wall against our language, and fuck is our chisel, or something to that, something to that effect. But I can't remember it properly. But Irish people say fuck a lot. And
Oh no, I've done it on stage, but I've said like Like Liverpool people say fuck a lot, and I've said on stage like it's punctuation, because when when Scouse people don't swear, we have to make that other noise where we go. You're just filling in the gap. And so swearing fills in the gap. And on stage, I swear more on stage than off stage. Although, to be fair, I do drop. I swear quite readily off stage
Aiden,
as well.
My brother Aiden says that fuck is our
Yeah,
you know?
it is. It is. It's
a thinking word.
It's comedians. Because you can drop it in the middle of any sentence at any time, at any stage of the sentence, and it'll give you that extra couple of seconds to think of what you're going to say next. And so,
but also, it's the way a lot of people speak. I'm not saying everybody speaks that way, but a lot of people speak that way. So I don't understand why there's this pretense that it's a problem. It's basically you're holding on to this concept of there's a way that we should be speaking, but this is the way that we speak. Just accept it. It's not a big deal. You know, I don't understand why people are trying to hold on to give these words power. It comes from shame. I think there's some deep-seated things about speaking properly. By the way, I'm not speaking about grammar, but just about sort of swear words and just like what's proper and what isn't. Oh, I feel like there's a lot of cultural stuff that comes with that I renounce.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, the stuff about it being like socially, it kind of creates a bond because it's like you come across more honest, like you're being your true self if you swear.
Yeah, because that's
you're
the
not
thing
like putting something forward that's not genuine.
But also, because I didn't read the report, but I heard it reported on the radio, and I'm sure they were saying that there's reduced pain thresholds and something about longevity. Something about reduced stress because people are less uptight.
Yeah. Because you see it a lot in the comments. People complain about why you swear so much. And it's like, well, this is the way that I talk. If you don't like the way that I talk, that's totally fine. You don't have to listen to my comedy, but you need to ask yourself why it bothers you so much. That's what I think. Because somebody said, a lot of times people will say, why do you say fuck so much? It shows you have a limited vocabulary. And I always say, no, you have a limited vocabulary because I say fuck and you don't. You're the only one that's fucking limiting your language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned about comments because someone has commented on the podcast a few weeks ago. Des, I don't know if you see it after your Rory McIlroy rant.
Yes.
Saying, Bradley, please tally the number of times Des uttered the F word during his soliloquies about Rory. So I have.
Oh, you have? Have you counted them?
Yeah. How many would you guess?
36.
Let's take a look.
24.
It was the most stressful fucking watch in my life. Bro, it's just fucking, and it was fucking painful. He's a fucking asshole. And I'm sitting in this fucking hotel. Immediately, Roy fucking double bogeys the first. It's fucking nerves, man. And he fucked it up. I have a show in fucking Miami at 7 o'clock. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was about to fucking fuck Bryson DeChambeau. I've been so fucking nervous. I gotta think that he couldn't feel his fucking hands. Right? And now this guy is blowing the fucking Masters. This guy's gonna fucking blow it. And he has to hit. He fucking slings this thing. He has a simple fucking shot. He put it in the fucking bunker. I'm in fucking Miami, right? The fucking opener's talking to me. You know, this is not a moment where you can fucking talk to me. Like, he put it in the fucking bunker. Then he hits it out of the bunker. He has about 6 feet to win the fucking major. My wife, who's also fucking big into sport, she's watching on fucking proper TV. She starts fucking calling me. Oh, fuck. I was like, oh, she's fucking calling me. Either he won or he fucking missed. And then she fucking called me again. I couldn't fucking watch. And then when I fucking got back to it, he was walking off, and I could see the fucking scores were level. I realized he fucking missed it, right? And I'm fucking in it. My opener is on fucking stage, right? So I'm like the fucking playoff hole, and Rory put it fucking closer. And just all these fat, fucking unskilled fucking losers judging a fucking genius. He was finally able to fucking say that he's the best. You would think he could fucking do that, you know? This is fucking huge.
Mate,
Who was that, 45?
Bradley, that is fantastic.
Wow, Bradley. Did you know he was doing that, John?
I didn't think there was going to be that many.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
I didn't know that he'd done that.
Oh
He's got
God.
loads of hidden videos. Obviously, he'll drop in mid-conversation. Bradley, that is brilliant.
So that that reminded me of. I don't want to get off the topic of swearing, but just a quick digression. We can come back to it. But welcome to Wrexham. They did Phil Parkinson's enthusiasm count, and because he's a big cursor when he's giving his speeches. So I'm glad to have gotten an enthusiasm counter. Yeah,
yeah, that's what we'll call it, the enthusiasm count. That is so funny. That was well played, Brad. Well played. 45.
And sometimes, honestly, when I'm watching myself back, there are times.
Yeah, there's times where I go, I wish I hadn't have said that.
Yeah.
That sounds too aggressive, or
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to put somebody off what is the joke or the story or the punchline by the building bricks on the way. But if you use the swear word appropriately in the right place at the right time, it just lifts everything. Lifts every joke possible.
Yeah, and it is just the way that I talk. So it's kind of like
it is who you are.
Yeah, you know, and I have to actually change my rhythm of speaking when I lose it. Somebody knocked on my door. Give me 1 second.
Take us with you.
That was funny, that, Brad. That was very, very, very good.
It's weird what you were saying before about the readjusting. It is, I found it odd readjusting, I think. Like, not having anything coming up. Like, it's like my body's like, what's going on?
But it's also that thing, like I was, if you had the cold, yeah, the fucking post-cold.
No, but I got so scared yesterday that I was going to get conjunctivitis. I have such a fear of getting conjunctivitis. And
why are you bothered about conjunctivitis? Is that a big thing going on at the moment?
I don't know why. I think it just looks horrible when people have it, and I never want to have it.
Yeah, and leprosy. Look at two things.
It is weird.
I'm trying to spend my whole life avoiding conjunctivitis and leprosy.
Give me any of the other diseases, just
the rest
not
of it's fine.
Conjunctivitis.
I'll take that.
Welcome back.
The sprinkler guy, very important for one of my properties.
Oh yeah, there you go.
One of your many properties.
Yeah, there you go. When you're having a go at me and you get interrupted by somebody whose job is sprinklers.
Sprinklers?
You're a sprinkler guy. Hey, sprinkler guy, can you just go and piss on me grass?
I mean, listen, the tennis court needs water because it's a clay court.
Of course, bouncy, innit? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I got a pissy email from the tennis court maintenance company saying you're not watering the court, which I knew because the sprinkler system has not been connected yet. But the sprinkler guy's here today. Anyway,
cool.
So I had another point about...
You were talking about the fucking potato famine. You did all right in the end, didn't you?
My people stuck it out. That's the other thing I like to point out, is that my people didn't leave until after Irish independence.
Very good.
So just in case people are thinking that my genetics didn't survive the famine, it did.
Yeah,
so,
just talking... Des, we were just talking when you were off. Bradley was saying that he's slowly readjusting because we were on tour till last week. He's readjusting to that post-tour life, you know, where you've been touring and you stop. And I was just saying, like, you must have it as well, where you stop and then you get a cold and you're like knackered and like
always.
And also you just don't know what to do. At 8 o'clock at night, you start getting dressed to talk to strangers.
Yeah, you just can't believe.
Why is there no lights on me?
Yeah, why am I just some fucking schmuck?
Yeah,
fucking that nobody cares about.
Why is nobody clapping?
Yeah,
you're walking around the house going, "Come on, I've just spoke."
Bradley's like, why is there no middle-aged guy shouting at me to get something? Brad!
Literally.
But this is why so many entertainers end up with alcohol problems, drug addiction, you know, just like just mental health stuff, because it's so much adrenaline and cortisol. It can't be good for you.
No.
You know? It can't be.
And conjunctivitis. They all get
conjunctivitis. What?
When you were off the mic, I was saying I'm scared of getting conjunctivitis.
You have conjunctivitis?
No, he's scared of it. Of all the illnesses post-tour Bradley's worried about, he's worried about conjunctivitis.
Yeah,
It's like
I worry about typhoid.
yeah, that's what it's like saying I'm worried I'm going to get the
Cholera.
mumps or
Yeah,
something.
I'm worried about cholera.
You know what about?
But yeah, man, I definitely struggle with the after the tour life, you
Yeah.
know? And in the States, because there's so much flying, it's just like you're away for the weekend and then you're back, and like Monday, Tuesday's like a write-off.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is. It's a weird. I'm in that weird zone now. It ended last week, and it's been a busy week. But you're sort of going, oh, what am I meant to do now?
Yeah, but you
it's a
gotta
weird
take
thing.
you gotta
do
take the
it.
time
Yeah.
off. You gotta take the
Need
time
it.
off.
Need it.
I'm struggling with that with Hannah. Like Hannah, because Hannah has her finger in so many pies. Like right at the time where I would be like, you know, at my busiest time in my career, I would always like tour was over. Then I would like power down a bit. I would make sure that there was a period of time where it wasn't so hectic. But Hannah has so many things going on. Right at a time where you think she would be powering down, just like a whole other thing comes up.
Yeah, but she's in that bit, and where she's got to keep going.
Yeah, I
Gotta
know,
keep
but
going.
you know, but you burn out. I mean, people burn out.
I know, yeah, but listen, you got a tennis court that needs watering.
Yeah, but it's a long game, baby. Come on.
It is
You
a
know?
long game. You're absolutely right, and that's where you can help her, because having been through that cycle before. Because there's sometimes now when I look back and I think, fuck, I wish I'd have just slowed down a little bit there. I've made good choices most of the time, but sometimes I'm thinking I could have just not that tour didn't have to be that long.
Yeah,
Or I
chasing.
could have just missed a little bit there and just been home a bit more. But yeah, what can you do?
And most of the time, when I made like mistakes, like fucking too loose on an interview or something, it was usually when I was like pushing it.
Yeah.
You know, touring. So what happens sometimes is you tour so long, you add dates on the back end, and then some of those back end dates, you almost have to go into like a second round of promotion of your tour.
Yeah.
And you've been talking for so long that like you just run out of shit to say. Next thing, you know, you're just being loose and silly, and you're kind of like all your guards are down. You say something stupid, and then you got a whole round of, you know, drama to deal with. So I always find that you got to be, when you push yourself too hard, you lose your sharpness and you can make mistakes, you know?
Very good.
So anyway,
Where's that sweatshirt from?
actually,
just-
coincidentally enough, Hannah got this at this great outdoors comedy festival, but she got an extra large because she got it for me.
Oh, very good.
So, but I turned the heating off in this house because the weather has changed, but it's the time of year where the mornings are freezing. So I was freezing this morning. There you go.
There's a man who's done 45 fucks describing golf, and now he's going, oh, I've turned the heating off, you know. I know,
Yeah.
but it's still chilly in the morning. I feel it in my bones. Bones.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the heating system sucks here. It's all forced air, you know? It's not like rads. So the air conditioning and the heating are like connected. So by this afternoon, I'm going to need air conditioning, but this morning I need fucking heat. And it's not intuitive enough. My system is not intuitive enough to be like, in the morning, we're going to heat the house, and in the afternoon, we're going to cool it. So
Yeah. So listen, what I was saying there, so the way this week is going, because we're going to this is going to go out on Wednesday, and we're going to do the next one on Friday, just so that we can make sure it's ready for next Wednesday, because Brad's away and so on. This show has been a lot about words, so I think we should ask some questions of the congregation around words, either good words that they don't hear enough of, or favourite words, or etymology of words, or just something around words. Get some questions in around words. What do you reckon?
yeah, well, I guess we have to, if we're going to do words, I guess we have to ask them, like, what's your favorite etymology story? What's your favorite origin of word story? And then Bradley can fact check it live on the air.
Yeah, because if we're going to do one on Friday, it can't be about what's happened between the
Yeah.
week. So that's why it'd be good to get some questions out there.
No, I
of
like
the
that.
congregation. I think that'd be good. Anything word based.
No,
Which is-
I love that. There used to be a great guy on the Sean Moncrief show in Ireland. Sadly, he died, but every week he did an etymology segment, and it was always fascinating. It's always fascinating.
Well,
the
I
origin-
did a podcast with my mate Tony. We did this show, Three Little
Oh,
Words.
Three
and
Little
it's
Words,
all, it's all about etymology words, and it is fascinating. It is interesting what words mean to people. So we can get them to do that for Friday.
Okay, great. And then we can maybe also people can discuss why the word moist makes people so uncomfortable.
Ooh, Des.
See? It's just moist. Immediately you got uncomfortable. It's funny. Great feedback on the church songs, I could tell you that right
Yo,
now.
people love that. People
Big
love
feedback.
that. We're definitely hits a tune there.
Did you know, so somebody sent me like a thing on Instagram, a video. I think there's a Spotify of Catholic bangers, which I didn't know. I've been doing that routine for years. There's a Spotify playlist, Catholic bangers.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Someone actually has just sent a voice note, like as we're recording, about the church songs. I don't know if I can.
Oh, let's have a listen at the end. Let's
Oh.
wrap it up with a member of the congregation.
Hey John, Des and Bradley. John of Melbourne here. Des unlocked a core childhood hymn memory of me attending Mass in a house in Ireland as a kid. The event is called the Stations and it's a big deal. Different than Stations of the Cross. Anyway, the short version of the hymn goes, he's got the whole world in his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands,
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the tiny little. What did he say? I interrupted him at the end. So do you guys know that one?
I know
Got
that
the
one. Yeah.
whole world.
Yeah, you
in
know that
his
one, right?
hand. He's got
Is
the
that a
whole
church?
world.
I guess it is, because then it was, he's got the tiny little babies
Babies
in his hand. And
hand.
they
Yeah.
kept doing all the things, yeah.
That was good. So who's that? John from Melbourne, was it?
Yeah, I think he said Yeah, John from Melbourne.
Yeah, because he sounded like somebody that grew up in Ireland but lived abroad for a long time.
That's good. What a great.
I
what a
forgot
great
about
message.
the whole. I forgot about the
That
whole
was.
world.
I think that was the one that was in my head that I couldn't remember, and I kept on coming back to Kumbaya.
No, it wasn't Kumbaya. It was Hosanna.
Oh, sing Hosanna. Sing Hosanna. Yeah. I've just remembered Kumbaya now. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Yeah. So, I think the congregation can send in weird ones, but also if they just want to send in any general question, they can. And they can also
Yes.
message us on Instagram at the Bishop
Yeah,
Exchange.
messages on Instagram, send it. And we still need to do all of that stuff where we get people to like and subscribe. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you're subscribing to this, and that just helps us. I don't know how it's supposed to help, but everyone says it on every other podcast.
Subscribing on YouTube definitely helps, because then when you post stuff, the subscribers get it. And
Right.
then the subscriptions matter on Apple Podcasts because it becomes an automatic download. So it downloads into their library automatically. And Spotify too, you see it when you, and then some people have their alerts on. So when you post a new episode, it gets sent like, no, the Bishop Exchange has posted a new episode. So it definitely 100% matters.
Yeah. And for us then, as a new podcast, the more people that we get, it will matter whenever, further down the line, the more subscribers make a difference into how much you can grow the pod, obviously.
Yeah, let's face it.
It makes sense, doesn't it? But
Listeners,
I've
we
never
need
really thought of it that way.
we need listeners, otherwise it won't exist. So
Well,
You
it
know?
will. It'll just end up being a phone call between us.
nobody's listening.
Brilliant. All right. Cheers. What are you doing this week? So we're going to catch up at the end of the week, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be in Phoenix. So you asked me what I'm doing this week. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'll probably be recording at the crack
Friday?
of dawn. Yeah.
Wow. So we're recording on Friday to go out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But you'll be in Phoenix, we'll be here, so we'll have to sort the time out for that.
Very
That'd be
excited.
bonkers.
By the way, I just want to point
by
out
the
that
way, one
Okay.
other thing before we go. Canada. Canadian elections.
yeah,
Mark Carney.
Trump blew it for the conservatives.
Yeah.
They were a shoo-in when Justin Trudeau was the prime minister. Trump got rid of Justin Trudeau and got rid of any any sense of anger towards the Liberal Party, and now they are in the ascendancy. And the leader of the Conservative Party didn't even win his seat.
I know Mark Carney. I've met Mark Carney on a number of occasions when he was governor of the Bank of England. For some strange reason, we kept on going to the same events, and we ended up sitting next to each other a number of times.
Wow.
And he's a very, very impressive dude.
Wow.
Very impressive dude.
I think we should tour Canada. I didn't realize that you're in the Canadian Illuminati, which is a lot. It's a lot nicer. It's a lot nicer than the real Illuminati. The Canadian Illuminati is very diplomatic.
Listen, I might get a passport. You never know. I might just say, Mark, remember me? We had a few drinks. Any chance?
That's great. All right, we're touring.
Can I be a Mountie? I want to be a Mountie.
The Bishop Exchange is touring Canada next year.
That'll be good. No, it's good to have him in, though. He's a proper sharp cookie. All
right. Well, that's the one part of world affairs that Trump has affected 100%. There's no denying it.
Yeah. And did you see the thing with the Pope when the Pope was getting buried and him and Zelensky having a chat?
Yes. Also Zelensky got a round of applause.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. The world, in the end, as they say, real politic effects. It's all well and good, all the bluster and the internet and the podcasting. But in the end, real politic kicks in and you got to get into reality. Politics is hard. Politics is really hard.
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's just like so much harder than honestly, because there's been a couple of statements that have come out being like, it turns out Ukraine is a little harder to solve than we thought. It's like, oh, no shit, bro. No shit.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that was a good way to finish.
We're not getting political, man.
Yeah.
Bradley gets uncomfortable.
I know. You can see it, Kai. He's screaming. He wants to get back. He's thinking, how does Britney fit in? Where does Britney fit into all of this?
These politics are killing me, and I
want no more Justin Trudeau.
I'm so sick of John's senility, and Sorry. There's a lot of musical improv today.
A lot.
All right, thanks, congregation.
All right, take care. Ta-da.
Bye.